Now we have our sprite, we're going to need to create an object to attach it to. As before, we can create an object in a variety of ways. We can go to Resources, Create Object, press Shift Ctrl O, click the Objects icon on the menu bar, which is the sphere on the end, or right click on Objects in the Resources panel and click Create Object. I'm going to do that now, and it will open up our Object Properties window. We're going to be using a lot more of this window than we did with the sprite properties, as we need to add behavior to our object so it reacts and does something in game. Start as you did before by naming the object in the name box. Again, use sensible names, and in some cases you can use the same name as the sprite that will be attached. We can do that in this case. So I'm going to name my object object underscore hello. Remember, this makes it a lot easier to reference resources in our code later on, so stay organized and keep the naming strict. We can now attach our sprite, so this object can be seen in game. To do this, we need to click in the box that says No Sprite and select our sprite underscore hello. In later projects, when you have more than one sprite, they'll all be listed here, so it stays easy to attach them. After you've clicked the sprite, you'll see it changes the preview in the Object Properties window, as well as adds an icon next to the object in our Resource panel. Objects in GameMaker are made up of events and actions. Events are things that happen in game that we want to check for. This could be a key or mouse button being pressed, or one object colliding with another. If you click Add Event, you'll see the variety of options we can use. For this example, we're going to check for a mouse press. Selecting this option gives us a list of potential events to check for. Some are easy to understand from the name, but others require a bit more explanation. For instance, left button will register an event every step that the mouse button is held down for. A step in GameMaker is effectively a frame. So if our game is by default 30 frames or steps a second, then this event will trigger 30 times a second until we let go of the mouse button. Left pressed, on the other hand, will register just one event at the time we press our mouse button, and equally left released will register one event as we let go of the mouse. For this example, we're going to use left pressed. After clicking this option, you'll see that it's now added to our events list. Now we need to add our action. An action is something we want this object to do at the time the event triggers. So, we want this object to complete an action when we press the left mouse button. GameMaker is well known for its use of drag and drop components that you can see here. This allows people to create simple games with minimal programming knowledge. This can, however, restrict what you want to achieve, so we're going to jump straight in with programming in GameMaker's own language, GML. To do this, we head over to the Control tab on the right, and in the Code section, we simply drag and drop the first icon. This automatically opens up our script editor, where we can type our code and tell the object what to do. We want to use the show_message function. After typing that, it will turn orange to let us know GameMaker recognizes it. If it doesn't change color, check your spelling, as it will need to be exact, and make sure you have included the underscore. As this is a function, it requires brackets at the end, so we'll add them now. So we've told GameMaker so far to show a message when we click the object with our mouse button. We haven't yet told it what to say in the message. To do this, we need to type inside the brackets we just made. Now in programming, a single letter is referred to as a character, but a word or a sentence is a string. A string is a widely used term in programming, and it simply means a collection of letters. So to help you remember, think about a piece of string joining our letters together to create a word or sentence. To let GameMaker know we are typing a string, we simply need to use speech marks. So, I'm going to insert a speech mark, type hello world, and close the speech marks. you'll see it's turned the text red, and again this just lets us know that GameMaker has recognized this as a string. To complete this line of code, we want to end it with a semicolon. This lets the program know that the line is finished and it can continue reading on. Now, GameMaker doesn't require this, but it's great programming practice to get used to as early as possible. Once you've finished your message, click the green tick to save your changes. You'll see there is now an action in our left pressed event. We now have our object with a sprite so it can be seen. It will check for the left mouse button being pressed as an event and then complete the action to show a message. To save the object, we click OK. We have our sprite and we have an object. Now all we need is a room to put them in. Make sure you save your project and we'll continue with that in the next video.